Breaking story for Tuesday, January 19th, 2016. The real tragedy in the city of Flint. And I'm going to put the link to this article below in the description box, the show more section right above the comment section. And I want you to read this in its entirety. It's by Greg Branch. Now, my wife Christy went to school with Greg, and he is the author of what's really taking place in the city of Flint, the real tragedy. And to sum it up quickly for you, the city of Flint was getting its water from Detroit. Detroit kept jacking up the prices, and Flint was having a hard time, and they were looking into an alternative to Detroit, using Detroit to supply their water to the residents and the businesses of the city of Flint, which really angered Detroit. So Detroit basically told them, to heck with you, and cut off the water. Flint was trying to get the water drawn in from, in the future, Lake Huron. So here Flint is left with no source of water treatment for its residents. Detroit just basically pulled out, and it gave them no alternative, so they were drawing from the Flint River. Oh, such a tragedy, and the cover-ups that have taken place. Let me just try to sum it up, the cover-up. Let's recap a little bit of this. Flint's elected leadership makes what is actually a solid, sound decision that will, in the long run, save the city millions of dollars and give it more control over its destiny. And because it positions Flint as a wholesale supplier of water, possibly enhance revenues for them, Detroit Water Board decides to be spoiled and lease Flint with no good options for the 2 years before its pipeline is built. Flint's leadership in the GOP-appointed EFM make a well-deliberated decision to draw water from the Flint River. A big mistake. Flint's water staff, the people in Flint who are the experts on this sort of thing, apparently aren't up to the task, and the people they count on to oversee and help them. The Michigan DEQ is completely asleep at the switch, and once they discover their mistake, they lie about it and ask Flint to help them lie. U.S. EPA is aware of a problem, but apparently trusted the kids playing in the DEQ sandbox to fix things. Personally, I think Detroit needs to be held accountable for starting the snowball down the hill, and I think there are people in the DEQ who should be prosecuted for reckless endangerment and fraud. The governor, his accountability lies in the creation of the corporate culture that allowed DEQ's hubris to let it happen. The Detroit Water Board members, I'm guessing, aren't Republicans. The Flint Water Department staff who were in over their heads weren't Republicans. The DEQ staff is probably a mix. The even larger tragedy, this is a huge public health disaster, and we Americans like our big, bad disasters in black and white. We want to blame it on one bad guy and reward one good guy. We're not real good at nuance and chains of events, especially if they clash with our political beliefs. Every Democrat in the country is calling for Governor Snyder's head and blaming it purely on the Republican governor and his emergency financial manager law. And not only are they ignoring the guys in the black hats who actually caused the problem, they're really ignoring the victims. Worse, they're using them as a tool to gain a political advantage. And that's an even larger tragedy. That's not what Flint's children need right now. People need to focus on them and not on their hatred of all things Republican. Update. Today, January 19th, 2016. This has been updated to reflect new information, and let me be very clear. I'm not paid to be an investigative reporter, and this is not a news outlet. This is strictly my opinion, and it is based on new accounts. Some facts are not known, in large part because of the lack of transparency in the office of a governor who promised to be transparent. And as I learn new facts that contradict information I had in here, I will so note them. None of this changes my overall point. There is a big difference between blame and accountability. and which you use will have a lot to say about the results you get. In the end, blame and outrage will help Hillary Clinton in the primaries, and it will help Michael Moore sell his next film. But the people of Flint can't drink blame, and they can't bathe their kids in outrage. We know exactly what the problem is. Let's get the best people to work on fixing it. After that, we can start the floggings. And there are people here who should be flogged. I'm going to put the entire article below for you. I'm going to take you to another article about the city of Flint, the people that have pets. And oftentimes we neglect to think about our pets. Let me go there real quick. Let me see if I can get this video to play for you.
These aren't just affecting people. Some veterinarians have a warning for pet owners in the city. If you aren't drinking Flint water, your pets shouldn't be either. On at 5 o'clock, our team coverage continuing now with ABC 12's Jessica Dupnack. She talked to a local veterinarian today. And Jessica, that doctor had a pretty simple explanation.
Yes, Angie, in this case, size matters because pets, especially cats, are much smaller than humans. It takes a lot less water to affect their health if that water has too much lead in it.
Pets are ingesting the same water we do. They're more susceptible because they have smaller body mass. So it'd be wise to, if you're not going to drink your water, to give them bottled water as well.
Dr. Wendy Woodard says the Mayfair Veterinary Clinic tests for lead poisoning, and they've seen their fair share of cases recently. While they can't pin it on the Flint water supply, they're warning pet owners to be aware. Look out for the following signs of lead poisoning: vomiting, constipation, diarrhea, and lack of appetite. The doctor says it can cause some other serious problems, too.
We also see neurological signs with ingestion of lead. They can be anywhere from hysterical barking, seizures.
Dr. Woodard admits bottled water brings some added costs on the front end, but it could prevent higher medical bills down the road. And if you think your pet is showing signs of lead poisoning, she recommends getting a blood test right away. In studio, I'm Jessica Dupnack, ABC 12 News.
All right.
Flint's water worries aren't just affecting people.
And in closing, I just want to mention that I put the word out. I did videos on the crisis in the city of Flint when it first began months ago, and no one was listening. Maybe people are listening now. Now I come to understand that Alex Jones is on his way to the city of Flint. Now, Alex, are you going to bring some aid to the city of Flint? Are you going to put your money where your big mouth is, Alex Jones? Are you going to do something, or are you just going to be on the camera? Are you going to be handing out bottled water, food? There is a crisis in the city of Flint. I was contacted by a pastor on YouTube, Pastor Paul Begley. What can I do? I can send some Bibles. Well, I'm sorry, you can't drink a Bible. Bibles are nice, but I get Bibles free. Why don't you roll up your sleeves, Pastor Begley, and take some of that money that your viewers are sending you in the thousands of dollars that you fly and jet set around the country into Israel, and come and roll up your sleeves and go to the north end of Flint with me and pass out Brita filters and bottled water and food. This is a real, real crisis. If you feel led to help our ministry, we are out now. It is such a crisis just in the city of Flint. We have $10 in our ministry account left. We've been out there every single day. I'll be out there again tomorrow, God willing. It's a tragedy. People are hurting in the city of Flint. The water has turned to wormwood. We've got to do something. Christian brothers and sisters, we've got to come together. We've got to do something. We've got to lift the city of Flint up in prayer. We've got to pray for the children, the babies, the pets that are in this tragic, tragic situation. I'll put the link to our ministry below.